Okay, welcome guys. I just wanted to share a video whilst I've got a little bit of voice left for resitters and give you my kind of detailed thoughts. I'll do another version of this and make a fancy YouTube version, but I just wanted to share my thoughts. I've been working really hard on this. So for those that don't know me as well, I've been head of biology for 8 years, teacher 15 years, OCRA, AQA examiner. I've obsessed over A-level biology for about the last 8 years, and I've done nothing but it for the last 5. And what I've done is I've thought, right, how could I provide the single best framework there possibly is for Resit students? This is based off what real students have done. This is based off thousands of students' data. I won't bore you with the data, but I used to be a data manager as well. So I used to watch all the data for all the students in the country. So I wanted to go through that with you. So I want to start with the principles. I'll send you the document, but it's just written by me, so I'll explain what I mean. So I'm going to start with the principle. So the first principle is, the common theme is Module 1 seems to be the problem. I am going to directly address this. So I'm going to produce a Module 1 task to do every single week. I'm going to focus on Module 1 for everyone because I think that's the bit that people struggle with, which kind of is the, I know the content but can't apply it. That's like when you get a weird and wacky practical, you don't really understand. We're going to work on that stuff. That seems to be tripping up most students. However, as a caveat to that, I got involved in a really big bit of research with all the heads of biology in Cambridgeshire a few years ago, and we worked out what is actually the difference between every grade. On average, it is actually content. So I know a lot of students, they learn the content, they can recall the content, but they can't then apply it. That's slightly different. But actually not knowing the content was actually the biggest problem. Could you, and this is kind of my golden rule I'll talk through in a minute, could you take out a pen, go to a whiteboard, and could you teach me the whole of respiration with a pen? Now, that is the extreme level you want to get to, but that's the idea. So, number 1 is Module 1 is a higher priority. Number 2 is, this is a very, very, very strong correlation, which is, if you want to be an A or an A-star student or B, whatever it might be, you need to consistently hit that regularly. So out of 18 exam papers, 15 of them should have been an A if you're going to get an A. If it's 9 of them are an A and 9 of them are a high B, that almost always means they get a B at the end of the year. It's just sadly the way the data works. And a lot of students have gone into that data as well. So whatever grade you want, you can't hit it once. You've got to hit it over and over again. I'll put that into the plan. Now, the next thing is, this is kind of direct feedback from previous resitters that have been successful, which is approach the course as you've never done it. So just start again, and there will be some psychological frustration here as, I can't bother to go through this again. You're going to have to. Start again, learn it as a complete novice, pretend you've never done it before, go with it that way. And the advantage for resitters is you'll do it so much faster than everyone else. You are a massive advantage. You are in competition against everyone else in the country. You are trying to beat them because whatever happens is, whatever marks everyone gets, the exam board are going to put the top 28%. Whoever got the most marks, they get the A's and the A stars, regardless of their ability. So compete against them, use your advantage, which is you can relearn it much quicker. Now, how do you relearn it? This is my advice. Step 1 is learn to understand. So the first time you're learning and relearning something, learn to understand. Could you explain it to a small child in simple language? That's the first step. The second step is write it the way the exam boards will like it. So for instance, if I said glycolysis, if you can remember that from respiration, could you say, well, when you take glucose, you essentially split it into 2, you add some phosphates on, and at the end you remove the hydrogen and the phosphates, you net 4 ATP, you net 2 ATP because you make 4 and spend 2. That's kind of the first step. Could you summarize the process? Step 2 is then you learn all the individual ins and outs. Do you know it's hexose phosphate, hexose bisphosphate, etc.? Okay, so try to learn in 2 steps. Learn to understand, make it make sense. I love to visualize and draw here. There's a lot of mechanisms in biology. Could I draw it out and explain it? That's a good step. Then learn the text behind it. That comes with exam practice as well. Consistency beats intensity. I've seen in the past with research students say, oh, I'm going to work until January. From January, I'm going to all in on biology. Almost always those students didn't get anywhere. So a little bit every week is what I suggest. I'll give you a plan in a minute. When you're doing exam practice, 9 times out of 10, it should be to get better. Don't do it to see, did I know it? It's to see, what can I learn from doing this question? So you do a question, and it might be a 3-marker. You might spend 20 minutes on 1 3 marker. And you should never move on from a question until it 100% makes sense. If you do that and spend 20 minutes on one question, even though it's only 3 marks, rather than doing 20 questions for 20 marks, you will learn better. Go to the mark scheme, figure out what was credited that you didn't say. Work out, well, why was that credited? And that's what I'm here for. You can ask me that. So what I would suggest you do is, when you get to those questions, you send it to me, take a screenshot, send it to me and say, why is this credited here? And I'll explain. Also learn to mark, which I'll do in a second. So yeah, that applies to the right-hand side of the mark scheme. So important to work out, why is it allowed? Why is it not allowed? What is it about the language? Sometimes it is really hard to work out. 99% of the time, I will be able to tell you, so just ask me. So, deadline. Now, this is again, I want to highlight this. This is the best case scenario. If you have to get your A or A star, got to get into medical school, dentistry, whatever it might be, this is my advice. So this is going to be intense. My advice is, so module 1, there's about 4 sections to it. Okay, you've got two on experiments, scientific skill, and then maths. So treat them as chapters. Sorry, my voice is going. So that means there's 27 topics. So I would split those 27 topics, so 2 or 3 topics a week for the next 12 to 13 weeks. Get everything done by December. So that means essentially you'll spend 3 days learning one topic, 3 days another topic, take a day off. You do that every week for 12, 13 weeks. That would mean then by December, you are ready for a full set of all 3 mocks. That's my advice. Now, that is intense. That's the goal. And with all of my advice today is, this is the best case scenario. This is what other students in the past have done. So this is what you're aiming for. If you have a bad week, take a week off. We all get poorly, that kind of thing. But then get yourself back on the plan. One of my favourite phrases is, an aeroplane is off course 99.9% of the time. So the pilots and the autopilot is constantly correcting it. So it's okay to not be on course, to be a little bit behind 1 week. Get yourself back in, catch up. If you had a week off, work twice as hard the next week. Okay, now when you're learning, this is kind of my 4 steps of learning. So learn the content so you understand. Do this however you want. The idea is the scholarship solves a lot of that. That's the idea of the scholarship does this. Then you can use BioBud, use your textbooks. I like a variety of sources because every source is not perfect. It might be scientifically perfect, but actually the way application questions come in, having a wider variety really, really helps. And I would say do the hard learning in the morning. Then do have some way to just practice biology that's really relaxed. Okay, so BioBud is for this. There's a daily quiz, there's flashcards, whatever you want. Just do 15 minutes, a few extra times. If you sat on a bus, if you sat waiting for something, sat on the toilet, get your phone out, do a quiz. The more you can do that, the better. Then when you get to the exam practice, like I said before, do exam practice, do it slowly, see what you learn. Then once you've done a whole topic, I have an assessment for every topic. AQA guys as well. There's only one resitter, but AQA guys, I'll do this for you as well. But I have a diagnostic assessment at the end of every topic, so you'll know what spec points you did or didn't do well on. Do that. Your target really is about 90%. If you get 85%, you can move on, but you're aiming for get your understanding, because remember, we don't move on until we understand. And then fix those problems now. Make a list, fix them. I've got a tracker you can use. A handwritten list has worked really well in the past for most students. Have a file, put weaknesses, write it out by hand. And then fix it, then move on. And the idea is, by December, you'll do a full set of mocks. Then, every month, so you'll do 1 a week. You'll do a paper 1, paper 2, paper 3 from January onwards. Paper 1, week 1, paper 2, week 2, paper 3, week 3. And it's a relaxed paper. You're doing it. You can do one question, you can mark it, you can break it up, but it needs to be formal. So don't do it with textbooks. So you know when you get your A or A star, it was come May, June, you've got 18 A or A stars in the bank. You will get an A or an A star. If you get that, you will get it. I can't say I guarantee it because that would be unethical, but you will. Okay, so topics, you don't have to do it this way. It's just a suggestion for the topics. Start with some module 1. I'll provide you with this. Do cells and then start to work on, I've kind of slowed the first few weeks, biological molecules and DNA is a big topic. Then try and start hitting 2 a week, every week, all the way till the end of November. Then do your set of mocks. So set this as a deadline. I will send it out to everyone. I can send you a mock. I can make you a brand new one because a lot of people have done a lot of past papers at this point. Maybe you forgot. I can solve that problem and do one every week. Your daily structure. So I would go like this: Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, learn topic 1, test yourself on a Wednesday, work really hard in the morning on the learning, relaxed stuff is in the evening, the low stakes week, all that stuff. Then do your assessment, then the next day, 1, 2, 3, then take Sunday off, don't work on a Sunday. Now, you could probably split a topic, Resit students, 2 hours, and you're going to be doing lots with me anyway. So it might be that you say, right, I'm going to learn on a Monday, and you're going to be doing all the extra vision with me as well. You can watch the recordings, whatever you want, but you need to be working independently as well as with me. Now, you can lock in, you could do 7 hours a week with me, but I would say 2 or 3 hours a day per topic. And I would say this should apply to all topics, but this is specific to biology. Learn how to mark. I made a YouTube video. It's slow. It's not the most fun in the world, but watch it. It's got a funny name. It's just clickbait. Watch that. Sign up to BioBud. Make sure once you've signed up that I give you a free account. Job done. Hope that was helpful. I will put this in the chat now. And if you have any questions on this, this is the idea. If every student said to me, if I guarantee you can get an A star, what would you do? This is what I would do. Hope that was helpful, guys, and I'll see you soon.